Last time on Square Roots, our hero witnesses the slaughter of his family and the burning of all he knows and loves. The perfect prelude to the first day of school.
Hello and welcome to Square Roots. I'm Matthew Van Zant, joined this week by John Hood Brandon.
I don't understand.
It's the title that you get after Chicken Chaser.
Oh, I bought a nice one.
What'd you buy?
I don't know. I think like Strider or something cool. Oh no, Pie. I bought Pie Muncher. Pie something.
John Pie Something Brandon.
Yeah.
And Vanessa.
I'm Ranger.
This week we are talking about Fable. This is episode 2 in our Fable series. And we're going to pick up where we left off last week when we killed a giant wasp monster. Wasp. I think I said wasp.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. And we showed its head to everybody. We were like, "Hey, look at this cool head we found."
And people are into it.
Yes, they're like, "Oh, ha ha ha!" Yay!
Meanwhile, I carry around a decapitated bug head, and everyone calls me a weirdo.
Well, they're the weirdos, not you. Anyway, I think I
Yeah.
skipped an important part, which is to mention that this is a classic RPG podcast where we play classic RPGs one chunker at a time.
Yeah, how come you aren't, good at doing this? Where's the guy who usually does it?
You know what? We got rid of it.
Oh, good riddance.
Yeah, I agree. Fuck that guy. He smelled bad.
You can't smell him through the... Well, never mind.
All right. Before we dive into our Fable talk, we should do our first segment, the one that I think everybody loves the most. Do you guys want to level up?
Yeah.
Vanessa, how did you level up?
I saw a movie called Solo, a Star Wars story.
What's that about?
It's about this guy...
Mm-hmm.
And he wannabe pilot, but he very poor.
Mm-hmm.
So he tried to figure out how to be pilot, and then he makes some friends.
So you just joined the Air Force, right?
Yeah, basically. And then he does some Ocean's 11 type stuff. And in the end, he has to decide, want he be a good man pilot or a bad man pilot?
What
and
does he
I
choose?
won't say which he... No, that would be a horrible spoiler. I won't say. I liked it. It was sort of a classic heist film noir kind of movie, but in outer space. And it was a pretty good movie. John, how did you level up?
Whoa. I was not expecting. Can you at least give it some kind of rating out of stars?
Oh, okay. I will give it a OLO out of an SOLO.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Although you think it would be giving it an SOL out of SOLO.
No, then it would be shit out of luck.
All right. Well, I did level up in some way, didn't I? Hold on. Research. Oh, I know how I leveled up. I purchased a game for the Nintendo Switch called Yuko's Island Express.
And that's got the little green dinosaur from Mario in it?
Nope.
The little pink baby that eats things?
Uh-uh.
The little toad guy?
It stars an ant and the little puffball it's rolling.
An int?
And
A tree man?
Oh, no, it's actually a beetle. It's a little tiny beetle, like a Paula or a Ringo.
Is it a dung beetle?
It does. I mean, it's rolling a big ball like a dung beetle, but I think dung beetles are larger, and this is like a teeny tiny little bug, and it's rolling this ball, but it's also kind of attached to the ball or grabs onto it, and it's like a pinball game meets Mario. Where,
Weird.
but meets like a Metroid style like giant map that you are doing adventures on.
Are you talking about Katamari Damacy?
No, it's side scrolling.
Oh.
It plays like a pinball. Like when you get to stages, there's bumpers, and the blue ones are your left bumper, and the orange ones are your right bumper. And
A side-scrolling pinball machine?
Oh, he's
Yeah.
talking about Sonic Pinball.
no, I'm talking about that. What was the name of the Metroid pinball game? Was it just Metroid Pinball?
I don't remember there being a Metroid pinball game.
Yeah, it was for
How can there
the
be a
3DS or something.
side-scrolling pinball
DS.
machine?
It's not a machine. It's a game. It's a game like what is Metroid, except sometimes it turns into a pinball game.
Is it top-down when it turned to pinball?
No, it's just gravity. So it's like a side scroller. It's still side view.
What?
And so you're just like dropping. It's like looks like an ant farm, like so you're. Sort of,
Oh, it's like the casino level of Sonic the Hedgehog,
Or
where
like
he
Sonic
bounces
Spinball.
around.
like Matthew
Or-
suggested.
Or is it like Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine?
Oh well, see that just sounds like his junk.
What kind of beans were those?
His testicles. That's what I'm getting at.
Ugh.
His mean bean machine is what he calls his Speedo that he wears sometimes.
That game was way darker than I thought.
Well, speaking of, this game is like cute with bunnies and beetles and stuff, but like you're killing these slugs and they explode because they're so horny. And if you kill enough slugs, it like cuts to this weird dungeon of all the like the slug creatures taking count of how many slugs you killed. They're all wearing like robes and look super dark. And there's also like this Cthulhu thing called the God Killer, which is coming and killing all the big guardian animals.
What?
It's fairly dark for a cute, cuddly kids game. It's interesting. I want to see where it goes, but it's really well written. It's beautiful. Like the graphics are gorgeous, and it plays well in portable and in docked mode on Switch. I think
It's
you
one
can
of
also
those-
get it on PS4 and Xbox.
It's one of those games that like I like everything about it except for the idea of a pinball mechanic, and I can see like trying it out and maybe coming around, but I'm not gonna pay for it to do that.
It cost me 25 Canadian Earth Bucks.
That is too many Earth bucks
It's fun. I think it's
for
a fun
a
little game.
tryout. I mean, not
Yeah.
in general.
And that is how I leveled up. Matthew Van Zant, how did you level up?
I beat 2 whole games this week.
Whoa.
I finished a game
Wow.
called Prey that a Vanessa recommended, and that we're playing for a Patreon Instant Classic episode, ladies and gentlemen. Square Roots Podcast Patreon. You should go check it out. And
Whoa.
I finished another game called Fable.
What? What kind of monster finishes a game before we're supposed to finish it?
Whoa.
I pulled a Vanessa. I got really into this game. It was fun. I even did the Lost Chapter DLC content.
How long was that?
Very short.
Oh.
Couple hours.
Oh. Yeah,
It's the
this
type
game
of
is
thing
not
that-
very long, right?
No. Well, it's also like, so they re-released Fable as Fable the Lost Chapters with this extra content. And if I had bought Fable and then bought the Lost Chapters, I would have been pissed. And, I guess that's it. So good news, listeners. You can expect me not to flake out on this one because I already beat it.
Yay.
That is good news.
I wonder if Jim's going to play it.
Yeah, he said yesterday he's going to catch up.
Okay. Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because we kicked him off the show.
That's right.
Because of his stank breath.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Jim is in hygiene camp, and if he does well, he can come back. But not till he learns proper grooming.
That reminds me of the fake educational film in Homestar Runner, Hygiene, about a guy named Gene and his poor hygiene. It was great. Homestar Runner is a good cartoon.
Homestar Runner is a good cartoon. I wonder if the kids even know what it is anymore.
I made my niece watch it, so she knows what it is.
Did she like it?
Yeah, but she was also like 5. This was 7 years ago.
5-year-olds like anything you show them.
Yeah,
70
that's true.
years ago.
7 years ago.
I mean, I knew you were older than us, but good God, you look amazing.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, you ready to get into the quest log?
Quest log.
I'm so ready.
Go
I'm not
into
gonna.
the
I
quest
can't because
log.
I'm doing host stuff. I can't sing it, so
Go
somebody
into
needs
the
to sing it.
quest log.
Yeah.
Go into the quest log, and we're gonna have a quest log. Quest
Hanging out with
logs
Crest
with
Frog.
adventures. Crest Frog is super racist.
All right, Johnny, take us
Yeah.
away on a magical journey. What happened after we beat up a waspy monster?
We go back to the wonderful land of Albion, where magic and adventures happen.
Where you can
And-
plant a tree and it will grow. Except for that doesn't actually happen. But imagine if
And
it did.
marks on trees are permanent.
I didn't actually run any of our ideas past the programmers to see if they could actually happen. Sorry about that.
I like this. Peter Molyneux should should narrate the rest of this.
No.
quest log.
No. That gets exhausting. For
So
You
everyone.
know
we,
what I
uh,
would like to see? I would like to see a Fable movie produced by Peter Molyneux and George Lucas together. I think they could really do an amazing job.
George Lucas generally delivers on what he's talking about, even if sometimes it's not good, especially after he got super rich.
Sometimes?
I think that they could really focus on the cider trading and the beer keg trading and how that impacts the world. I'd watch 2.5 hours of that for sure.
Right. So you get to get back to Albion, and you've killed the wasp, so you can cash in that quest, and that sort of unlocks a lot more area to explore. You can go to the town of Bowerstone.
Did we talk about leveling up in this game?
No, how does the leveling up work, Matthew?
Well, you have to go back to the Heroes Guild, to the map room. You can't just do it, which I don't know. I didn't hate. And
Yeah, it's
so
fine.
what happens as you fight stuff, you collect these little orbs, and the
Right.
little orbs give you level up points, and you get general orbs that are green, and you get red, blue, and yellow ones for attack powers, will powers, and skill powers, which is really just speed and sneakiness.
Oh, okay.
You take these little powers, you go step on this cool green platform, and then you can dump all those points into different skills. And it's pretty neat how it gives you a lot of options. It feels traditional RPG-ish, but in a different kind of way. So you're not counting up stat points, but you're raising your physique level, your health level, your toughness, your speed, your sneakiness, and then the will powers are obviously a whole mess of magic powers.
Right. And you get
So-
more experience for those powers by using them.
Mm-hmm. So let me just ask, towards the beginning of the game here, what did you guys decide to focus on first?
I want...
I decided to focus on my health because I do not like to die ever. So I want to be the toughest, healthy hero that I can be.
That's a good plan.
Mm-hmm.
I
John?
focused on my power because I wanted to make a big, burly muscle man. And the model doesn't
physique.
seem to have changed yet. Yeah.
I don't think I really noticed changes until I hit like levels 5. They all cap at 7.
Oh, okay. Okay. So he still needs some working out power to do.
Yeah. I maxed
I'm
it
also
out by the
eating a
end
lot
and
of-
he was a beefy motherfucker.
I remember now it was Pie Master was the title that I got.
Pie Muncher.
Pie Master.
Pie Man.
And like Thigh Master, except pies.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone's like it keeps saying, "Hey, Pie Master, you greedy guts!" Like they keep yelling at me.
Did either of you pick up any magic here other than the starter lightning?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I got Fireball and the Shoulder Rush, and there's another fire one, I think.
Yeah. There's Inferno and Fireball.
Fireball seemed
Yeah,
pretty fun.
I like the inflame one that does a area of effect fire around you. If you get swarmed by enemies, it's a good one to lay down because it blasts them back, and then you can roll away.
Ooh.
And I also got Magic Shield and Healy Magic. Healy Magic is nice because it can healy people around you. So if you're doing like an escort quest, you can healy whoever it is you're taking with you. And you do escort quests in this game more than once.
Yeah, not a
Well,
ton.
college was hard, and you had to figure out a way to pay for it. So.
I also focused on my health and physique, and I focused in hard on the Battle Rush power, which is the one where you blast it forward like Cannonball from the X-Men, who is nigh invulnerable when he's blasting, and you smash into a bunch of dudes and send them flying. And I really like that one.
It is.
It's very
great
good
power.
it's very good for getting people out of your way and breaking up mobs and just spamming damage. I actually used it to cheese a couple of bosses later in the game.
I'll have to remember that. That one boss is pretty hard that we fought this round, so yeah, I got to figure out ways to cheese this game to make it easier.
I don't remember which boss we fought this time.
We'll get there.
Okay,
We'll get
you're right.
there.
All right, well, so anyway, that's how the level up works, and now we're going to take a trip to Bowerstone.
So Bowerstone's a fairly big town with lots to explore. Does remind me a bit of the Oblivion Morrowind style. There's houses you can explore and steal stuff from. There's people you can talk to. The ugliest little girl comes up to you. No, that little girl is hideous.
Oh.
That is a hideous child. That makes me scream every time she talks.
You are a monster.
Hero, come quick!
Toy Master! Bye, Jumper!
Follow me,
Chicken Head!
Chaser! Chicken Chaser!
I got so sick of Chicken Chaser that as soon as you get out of the guild, there's a guy outside who will sell you a new title, and that's where I bought Pie Master. I recommend buying something else.
Yeah, they're cheap. My first one was Hood.
Okay.
Because I'm evil.
Ooh.
And we should say that once you go into Bowerstone, they do take your weapons away. I believe it's the only area in the game that does that.
Really? You can't hold down left trigger and kill people?
Left trigger?
Yeah, because if you hold down left trigger, it enables you to kill NPCs.
Yeah, but you don't have your weapons, and you can't use your magic. I did not try to punch things. You might be able to punch. Yeah, I think you can punch things.
Okay.
But you don't have your weapons, and you don't have your willpowers. You don't have any willpower. You can't be a Green Lantern.
That stinks. Did any of you all find anything interesting in Bowerstone?
I found a house for sale.
Ooh, really? How much was it?
Yeah.
9,000.
I don't remember.
Oh.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Wow. There's a Fight Club. Did you guys find Fight Club?
Really?
Yes.
Yes, this big strapping man wants you to fight him. And that's pretty fun.
Fight Club is almost a minigame. Maybe we should tuck it away in your corner for later.
I think I will. There's also a race minigame at the guild that we'll talk about. And another minigame, even.
Boy.
There is another one.
Yeah.
It's too many minigames. Too many minis.
I don't think you can have too many minigames, especially if they're optional.
Well,
This
why
one
don't you go
doesn't
play
have-
Mario Party then?
Oh!
This one doesn't have the Guitar Hero style mini game that you can get with a loot in, was it Fable 3, I think?
Yeah, Fable
Yeah.
3. So easy to make money that way.
Yeah.
But every town has a different little minigame as well.
Oh,
Like,
really?
different kind of tavern games that you can play.
Oh, I should go do that because that is my corner after all.
It is your corner.
What is the tavern? Well, actually, I'll ask you again during our...
Oh, that's a card game. Is it different every time?
Yeah.
Oh.
And not all of them are card games.
One of them is required later on, but... Anyway, all right. So we found some neat stuff in Bowerstone, but what's the gist
Yeah.
here? What are we doing in this dumb town?
I don't know. There didn't...
Nothing, really.
There was a Lady Gray. People talk about her.
Mm-hmm.
She is the mayor of Bowerstone, and people seem to be pretty afraid of her.
Yeah, there's a second part of Bowerstone you can't get to because the guards are like, nah, You ain't coming in
okay.
here. Bowerstone North or something. But
But
you're too poor and not well known enough.
You do see Maze,
Mm-hmm.
and he drops some cryptic comments with you. He just wants to show you some things in Bowerstone. What does Maze want to show you? I'm blanking here. Do you remember?
Maze wants to show you the tavern?
Yeah, but what?
No. Maze wants to show you...
His
Maze
penis.
wants to tell you that he's looking into your sister?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Because he says that your mother and sister survived.
Yes.
He says your sister survived. He doesn't say jack shit about your mother.
Oh, I thought he did.
Okay. Cut that
Sorry.
out.
Jesus.
So Maze says your sister survived and he's looking for her, but asks you to like keep questing until he finds her.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There's something up with this Maze guy. I don't trust him.
I don't trust him either.
His mind is
And-
a real
Labyrinth.
And what else is there in the town?
I mean, mostly you just shop around and you don't pick a lot of quests up out in the world. You have to go back to the Thieves Guild, to the guild.
Yeah, the
to
only
pick up these
quest I
quests.
remember. Well, there's the Fight Club quest, and then there's also the find mushrooms for. Oh yeah, let's talk about the creepy little girl's family. She asked you to talk to her mom. Her mom's like, "Well, my son found these mushrooms in the forest and got real high. He's flipping out. And could you talk to the witch in this town? And she will tell you how to get the antidote, so you can go find the witch." And she's like, "Well, don't worry about the kid. He'll be fine for a long time. So you can take your time on this quest, but you just need to find 4 blue mushrooms."
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she doesn't seem to take it too super seriously. She's not worried about the boy.
She seriously does not. The mother's freaking out.
Yeah.
I'd be more worried about the fact that they live under a tarp and don't have a real house, but that's just me.
That's just capitalism.
That's probably why he's taken all those drugs, to ignore the reality of his crippling poverty.
If he'd tried harder and not subsisted on handouts, he would have gotten further in life.
That's a really good point, John.
Yeah.
There's also a guy down by the river who wants to introduce you to his daughter, but he tells you that she only likes men with a certain hairstyle, and he gives you a hairstyle card to go get a haircut at the barber.
I forgot to do that. Did either of you do this this little quest?
I don't
got the
remember meeting a man in a van down by the river.
I got the haircut, but then I went back, and then he wanted me to get mutton chops, and I'm like, that is a step too far.
I will have to go back and do this quest because that sounds pretty fun.
I made all of my hair decisions based on how they affected my alignment and my attractiveness.
Ooh. Are you now very bad?
I have mutton chops for a good part of the game because they made me very handsome.
Do they make you evil?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, your hair doesn't affect your alignment, but your tattoos do.
Oh.
And your clothes.
What's that saying?
But not all tattoos are evil.
Oh.
No, some are good and some are neutral. So
I
that's
guess it's
tattoos.
like real life. I've definitely met or seen people with tattoos that made me very nervous and want to not hang out with them.
And then we have tattoos like Jim's cactar tattoo, which just draws everyone to him because it shows what a good, fun guy he is.
It's true. Whenever Jim walks around in Dallas, people are like, "Oh, ho, 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 look at him. Ho, 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 ho," and they all start clapping.
Oh, that's great.
Look at him. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, that's our impression of the townsfolk that are somewhat procedurally generated, so their reactions are kind of like based on a combination of what you're doing and what you're wearing and what you've done and your renown and whether you're good or bad. So it's weird.
They just keep laughing at me.
Me too.
I have thoughts about that whole system, but I feel like it's better saved for later in this series because that's when it really starts to affect you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
Well,
what were we talking about?
we are talking about Bowerstone. So, neither of you married this guy, because, but I'll get back to that. I given Operation Smoochums is in effect, which is my quest to have sex with as many people in this game as possible, I will try to hook up with this lady.
The opposite of John in real life, who is a virgin.
Yes, exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
Did I say there was something wrong with that? Why did you immediately
No.
jump to assuming that I thought there was something wrong with that?
Because all you ever talk about is getting it wet all the time.
That's why his blog is called mattgiw.blogspot.com.
Mm-hmm. Dot Live Guild blog. What was that thing called? Live Journal.
Live journal.
All right.
Angel
So
liar.
you end up heading back to the Heroes Guild, and this is when you get to choose a quest. You get two options, and you have to pick the good one or the bad one.
Ooh. And the quest is to protect a farm or unprotect a farm.
Yeah, unprotect the farm. You can either raid the farm or protect the farm, and Whisper is around, and she's going to pick the opposite quest and make it a challenge, because she really has a competitive streak.
Yeah.
What's the deal with this guild, then?
What's the deal
Because,
with this guild?
That's a great question.
like, they call themselves a heroes guild,
Mm-hmm.
and you would think that means that they do heroic things, but apparently they're taking jobs to just go rob people.
Yeah.
Well, that's not heroic.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's heroic from a different point of view.
Honestly, they could have just called it like the Adventurers Guild or like the Warriors Guild, and it would have made a lot more sense.
Right.
Yeah. Because
Murder and robbery is
just
an
seem to,
adventure,
like,
right?
Mm-hmm.
from what I understand, what they do is they go around and find children and bring them back and raise them to be mercenaries, and then just have them do whatever the shit.
Yeah. Whoever
They
will
do-
pay them to do whatever they want.
I think even from a story, like even from a deliberate story perspective, they are not necessarily the good guys, the Heroes Guild. Like, they seem to be kind of ominous sometimes, which I think is an interesting narrative device. I don't mind
guess.
that
Yeah.
you can't exactly trust the people that are giving you quests.
Yeah.
They don't
So
seem
anyway,
to be aligned with good.
let's take
or
a
bad.
quick poll. I'm going to assume I obviously took the evil quest. John, you probably did.
No, I took the good guy quest.
John, you're supposed to be playing a bad guy.
No, I'm playing a philanderer. Is
Oh.
that the word?
Yeah, he's playing the
Yes.
Smoochums.
Yeah.
He's playing a philanthropist.
Yeah.
What about you, Vanessa?
I'm playing a philanthropist, so I took the good one.
The good
Well,
one.
I didn't, but let's talk about how this goes. Now, I'm interested. How did this quest work for you? You go to the farm. In
I'll
fact,
tell
if
you.
All right.
You go to the farm.
You go to the farm.
and
You meet some bandits. I'm
Urgh.
playing.
You head on over to the farm. To get there, you have to go through the Great Wood, which is not that great. It's kind of a smallish woods.
It's filled
there's
with
some
wasps.
Wasps and bandits.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to, you can take a little side sojourn
Mhm.
into Fisher's Creek, where you meet a man who is holding a fishing competition, and
Oh,
he will
boy.
give you a fishing pole.
On your way too, there's these two stoned Englishmen that are they're looking for their magic mushroom that they dropped by the demon wall in the Adventurers Guild.
I just so happen to be in the need of a mushroom.
Ooh. Are you gonna steal it from these stoners?
Well, they explained that they have dropped it into the river, so unless I had some way to fish it out, I don't see how I could possibly get it.
Mm.
Well, you are.
Wait a minute, what did I just say?
You just talked to a Fisher Guild guy, and he's like, "There's not enough fishermen," and you're
Yep,
like, "Give me a fishing rod, please." And he's like,
and
"Okay."
he does. And you can, well, we'll talk about it in your minigame. So you proceed on to Orchard Farm. For me, I got there, and the farm owners came out to greet me, and they were like, "We have some rocks. We found them. We put them in crates in our warehouse, and now a whole bunch of people are coming to steal them." And
Why steal rocks?
The farmers don't seem to know. They are just like, apparently they're valuable to someone. We wish we had never found them, but nevertheless, please do not let them be stolen. We have hired 2 guards, as well as you, to protect our rocks. So just hang out here until someone comes to get them. Then someone does come to get them. And it is some banditos. They come... They try to walk into the warehouse and pick up the boxes and walk away with them.
Yep.
But it's pretty easy to stop them from walking away with them. You just have to hit them with your sword or some magic or an arrow.
There's a mechanic where once you accept the quest at the Heroes Guild and you go outside, you can make a proclamation, a boast about how you're going to complete this quest, which gives you a bonus.
It's true. You could. Did you do that, John?
I did. And so basically you're putting a little money on the line. Like... I boasted that I would complete this quest without using my weapons, which is a little frustrating because you have to switch to the original Fable control scheme in Anniversary, where you have to draw your weapon. Normally it auto draws, and so I did it. I did this boast successfully. You even have to do the final boss of this encounter without using a weapon.
Amazing. Can you use magic?
No.
Oh.
Wow.
You can only use healing magic.
So you guys, did you have to fight
your way
Whisper?
through the whole thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Whisper comes. She has taken the evil side of the quest for Vanessa and I assume for Matthew has taken the good quest.
Mm-hmm.
She's protecting the farm. And so, what is the good version of this quest like, or the evil version of this quest like, Matthew?
Well, so she shows up at the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's
Do you
not there
have
the
to-
whole time?
Do you have to steal those boxes?
Yeah, well, so you show up and there's a couple of bandits and they team up with you, they follow you. This is where I learned a very important and very frustrating thing.
Mm-hmm.
This game's targeting sucks.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you kill a man, the target will immediately leap to somebody else, and sometimes it will just pick somebody that is following you, and you will accidentally hit them very hard with your sword.
Now, if you're using the left trigger to target, yes. If you're using the right trigger, it will never choose an ally.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. But
not...
there's different commands available on each trigger, so it's a little broken.
And then the other I wish I would have done that very early on, but the other problem I discovered is that even if you have a bad guy targeted, everybody gets hit by your magic. That caused me a lot of fucking problems in this game. A lot of problems.
Did it?
Yeah,
Magic
I accidentally
is
killed a lot of fucking
dangerous.
people.
Yeah, but I thought you liked killing people.
Well, not when I have to escort them to finish a quest.
Oh, okay.
Or I'm fighting with a bunch of bandits and then I accidentally hit one and then they all turn on me.
Oh.
So, in my version, you start off at the entrance to the farm. You have to escort them down to the barn. They pick up a box and walk back. You have to walk them back. And along the way, you have to fight off guards as they rush you.
Oh.
It wasn't particularly hard. And then at the end, Whisper shows up, and you have to smack her around to get her to give you her brooch. Brooch?
Oh. She didn't give me her brooch in our...
I got it. I got it.
Oh, maybe we
Yeah.
do.
It's like that's your treasure for this quest, or
Okay.
your trophy for this quest.
Right.
And that was
Well,
kind of
that seems
it. There were
mean.
no bad repercussions. Nothing happened. I don't know.
Did you do the follow-up quest where you team up with Whisper to fight Hobbs at the farm? Or maybe you don't get that if you do the evil version of the quest.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I
Oh yes,
did
yeah.
that.
I remember that.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
you're
once again,
competing.
I had a real problem with knocking Whisperer around like a fucking rag doll.
Yeah. Well, if you're not using magic, definitely right trigger won't allow you to injure allies. I don't know. It might. I think it says you can't hurt other people unless you use left trigger. So maybe magic won't hurt your allies with right trigger. Vanessa.
I
But
think it will always hurt your allies, and I think you can also always accidentally shoot them if you are zoomed in with the arrow.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't. If I held down the left trigger, it let me switch my spells. So I don't understand how I could even use magic if I was holding down the left trigger.
Oh, yeah, the right trigger. You mean you hold down the right trigger
the
and
right
then
trigger.
you scroll through.
The right trigger
Yeah.
is how I selected my spells. The left trigger is what I use to target people.
It's a little iffy. That's why, like, it you can target people also with the right trigger, but left trigger works better. Like, try it out. You'll see what I mean.
This is some dumb bullshit.
The controls are a little grody in this game.
I will say, at this point, we're talking about the hob killing quest with Whisper. Since you're competing and you have to beat more than her, I did kind of take advantage of the fact that I could just keep her on the ground and kill the hobs myself.
That seems like an excellent plan.
Oh, it was a very close competition between she and I, but I won by 1 hob.
Nice job.
Oh, wow. I think I won by 2 or 3. What I would do is let one hob attack her and I'd run off and kill the other one she wasn't engaging.
I think I
That's
won
clever.
by like 10.
Oh, wow. But you were being very bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That actually reminds me of another thing that really made me angry in this game. When you're killing the hobs, you get good points. When you're killing any monsters in this game, you get good points on the morality system.
Right.
It's true.
But you have to fight the monsters. So even
Right.
if you're playing evil, you're still constantly collecting the good points. It stacks it against you so that it's really hard to be evil.
Do you have to, like, buy those live bird pies or something in order to get
the
your...
crunchy chicks.
Yeah.
No, I just would turn around and try to kill an equal number of guards or townspeople. Or people walking along the road.
That's fantastic, Matthew.
There are a lot of people walking along the road all
Yeah.
the time, despite
Even when they're-
the plethora of monsters.
Exactly. That was very confusing to me. Every time you go through the Darkwood, there are people running and screaming, and it's like, why are you here? What are you doing?
I like...
They have places to go.
I mean, it is one of the weirder, janky procedural things, but I like that element of it, that you're just walking around and randomly humans will get attacked by monsters and you'll see them run, and that's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll...
It's just like real life. You know, when you leave the house, there are
Mhm.
dangerous monsters out there called automobiles.
Whoa.
They kill thousands of people every year.
Oh, yeah.
But we still have places that we need to go.
It's true. I take public transit to work.
I do too, but I still see automobiles.
Oh, no.
No.
Right. Did any of you, during this chunker, talk to any demon walls? Speaking of demon walls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's one at the guild.
Mm-hmm.
It says that you are not bright enough to get through.
Mm-hmm.
So I shone my lantern right in its face, and I was like, is this bright enough for you? And it was like, yes, come in.
Yeah, I got through that first demon wall. I felt very smart.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Matthew?
I don't remember. I've opened 1 or 2, but I don't remember what they were. Frankly, after a certain point, I was like, why am I bothering with this? Nothing that they ever give me is worthwhile, so...
I think just because it's funny.
It was funny, but if I had to, like, go figure it out, I was like, nah. And if I kind of was like, oh, okay, I'll come back to this one. I came back to a couple of them, but...
Right. Yeah, I don't think it gives you a list of what they wanted, so you have to, like, go back to them and figure it out. If it had given you, like, a chart of this one says this, you know,
that would have
maybe
been
you don't have to
handy.
Yeah, that would have been handy and easier to get through. There's also collectibles. There's the silver keys you can pick up. I've only found a couple of them.
I didn't start really finding them until late game. It was very frustrating.
I found
I like that they stack. You don't use them up by opening a chest. So you come across these chests that have like a 5 or a 10 on them.
like the
and
Mario
once you-
64.
That's right. And once you collect 5 keys, you can open the 5 key chests, and your keys do not get used up, so you can just save them up for the next chest. It's like a real key. When you use it on a door, it doesn't vanish. You get to keep it.
So it's not I wouldn't call this game open world, but it sort of is. It's basically like each area is a series of hallways, even if it's a forest or whatever, and they're interconnected. So you do have a big map you can walk around for sure. And you can
On
do
the
some
360,
exploring.
every time I come to a new area, it pops up a little thing that says "Not on rails." 8 out of 31, or however many areas that you're exploring.
Is
Yeah,
that
there are 81 of those to get the achievement.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
gosh.
Is that a reference to the Connect game where Peter Molyneux was promising it was not on rails, even though it was a rail shooter? And he was saying it is definitely not a rail shooter.
Yes.
So I feel like these designers are making fun of their coworker, Peter Molyneux, with that, which I respect.
All right. So once you've done the hob killing contest, you head back to the Heroes Guild, and you have a new quest waiting for you.
An escort mission, which is
An
not
escort mission.
the kind of thing you do because you need money in college. It's the kind of thing you do where you need to help somebody get somewhere.
So there's a
I mean,
couple of
I
there's a
already
couple of
took one of
traders waiting
these-
at.
Oh, here. I took one
Go
on
ahead.
my way to the Hobbs farm because there's just a trader wandering around. It's not an official quest, but
Mhm.
there are just people wandering around saying, "Hey, could you escort me here?" So you can do
Mhm.
that, and you get some gold and stuff for that. But this is an official quest version, so it's got like a storyline element to it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you.
I took one of those non-official guys, and he got just a little bit beat up, and then he refused to pay me when I got to the farm.
Lame. How beat up did he get?
I don't know, like a quarter beat up.
Did you heal
I
him?
liked.
No,
Well, whose fault is
Well.
that?
it's his
Mhm.
fault for getting in between my sword and a raider.
Wait, so you yourself beat him up a little, not the raider?
Unclear. It's a fast action game, and it's difficult to keep track of every single blow.
That's true. That's
So
what
this is
he
kind
said.
of we take this trader, the official trader escort quest, and it's kind of not really a two-parter, but it kind of is. The traders are waiting for you, I believe, at the entrance to the Darkwood. Is that correct?
No, they're waiting for. Oh yeah, yes.
You have to get through the Great Wood to get to the Darkwood to start the quest. And on the
Right.
way through the Great Wood, you find a bandit camp.
Bandit camp.
There's some bandits that have taken over a bridge and are trying to collect tolls.
Mm-hmm.
And
I killed him.
I didn't have enough money to pay that toll, so yeah, I murderized all of them like an
I
Anakin
had enough
Skywalker.
money, but I murdered him anyway.
Me too. I guess that this wasn't a very branching quest. There were bandits, we slaughtered them.
Mhm.
I hunted them down in every corner of the map and made sure that they were all as dead as possible.
So did I.
And they never ever come back. Because I've been through there a couple of times again, and there's nobody there.
That's
They're
true.
very scared.
That's pretty cool, actually, that you kind of, it's not a official quest, but you kind of have a thing that changes the layout of the land, kind of.
I wonder what would happen if you paid them. I wonder if they would just become friendly. After
I don't know.
that. They probably wouldn't let you open their chest.
Maybe
Probably
Joan can
not.
tell us.
Maybe.
Who?
Oh, yeah, never mind. Maybe Stinky can tell us if he ever comes back.
Mhm.
All right, so there's not much more to that, right? You kind of slaughter these guys. You go through the Greatwood Gorge, which is where the bandit is. You go through the Greatwood Cullis Gate. Anybody
Right.
want to? What's a cullis? I assume it's like a portcullis, so I assume it's just like an entrance.
It's a thingamabob.
It's like,
It's a thingabob.
isn't it like one of them like wrought iron gatey things you can open and close to seal off an area?
Oh, that's a portcullis.
Oh, isn't it the same thing?
Shut
That-
up, Alexa! For fuck's sake.
My Alexa has been responding to this conversation as well. What's with that?
I don't have an Alexa. Because I get scared by them. I think they're going to take over my life. Anyway. Yeah, so we finally get past all this stuff and meet these merchants. And there's 2 doddering, kind of bumbling, dumb merchants.
And they're terrible. And I hate them.
Right away, you meet a 3rd merchant who is like, looks a little iffy and questionable, and the other 2 merchants say, hey, he's been bitten by a Balverine. He's going to change it to 1. We should kill him immediately.
What's a Wolverine?
Balverine.
A Wolverine is a man with very sharp claws that come out of his hands and silly pointy hair.
Doesn't he have some line about, I'm the best at what I do, and what I do is something? I think Wolverine has a line like that.
I'm the best at what I do, bub.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, probably like, and what I do isn't very nice because I was written originally in like the 70s when there was a comics code and I couldn't just be like, and what I do is murder the shit out of people.
Murderize.
So why did he bite a traitor?
Well, a Balverine is...
Wolverines want to bite people like a Wendigo and turn them into themselves.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. It's like it gives you werewolfism. So
why did they decide to name their werewolves Balverines? They're just werewolves.
I kind of like that's one of the things I find charming in Fable is like the Hobbs instead of the goblins and Balverines instead of werewolves. I don't mind this at all.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't bug me. I just thought it was weird.
They've got their own lore, yo.
So what did you guys do? Did you murder the traitor?
I should not do that. I should never say yo. I'm very sorry, listeners. I apologize to every single one of you.
Apology not accepted.
Oh, okay.
On behalf of the listeners.
Right. Yeah.
As the elected listener representative of this show, and thank you, listeners, for electing me.
Oh, we have some listener election talk that we do have to talk about at the end of this episode, too. That gets pretty fun.
Well, then let's get through it. Darkwood time. Did you kill the traitor?
Did you kill the traitor?
No. I brought him with me, but he accidentally died.
Well, I brought him with me, but things happen at the end.
Oh.
He didn't die.
He accidentally died before I got to the end.
I assume he turns into a Wolverine and slashes you with his adamantium claws.
He sure does. It turns out the other traitors were right, and we shouldn't have brought him along, because he was very much about to turn into a Balverine and totally did.
I put my very big sword right through his head.
That was probably a good idea. I did it eventually. I saved the other 2, but it was a close call.
Well, the other 2 are really annoying too. Like one of them is very scared of this, and one of them is very like positive and wants to get through it.
Yay! They are British comic relief for sure.
So I guess maybe we should describe the Darkwood if the name isn't description enough. You went from the Greatwood, which is a nice, pretty big forest, to the Darkwood, which is a nice, big, dark forest where there are spooky monsters and Balverines and Hobbs.
Yes, and you keep getting rushed by the monsters in this area.
And it is solidly like 5 areas.
And I didn't do any of the side paths because I was trying to escort these guys.
You didn't go to the whorehouse?
There's a whorehouse?
The brothel?
What?
There sure is a
Or
brothel.
the Temple of Scorn?
Boy. No, I need to go back and do all these. Let's talk about all these places. There's,
well,
I did.
You couldn't get into. You could not get into the brothel yet. You have to finish the quest. I think you have to have higher renown. So it actually, you'll come back later.
Can you go into the Temple of Scorn?
Yes, and I'll talk about that in a moment. So let's get through this. There is the step 1, the Darkwood Marshes. Where you escort some dudes through. Then Darkwood Lake. Then you come upon Darkwood Camp, which has no enemies and has a trail that leads to the Temple of Scorn. The Temple of Scorn is Evil Town, where you can convince people to follow you there and then sacrifice them to Scorn, a dark demon god. and it gives you
What?
totally great evil points. And
Why would you do such a thing?
on a random modifier of some kind, eventually they'll give you stuff.
How do you
This is where you
convince
get
people
the
to
best
follow
bow
you?
in the game.
Mm.
You know how you can make them fall in love with you?
Yep.
Then
Oh,
you
no.
say,
Oh
follow.
no, Matthew, no.
Yes. What? All I did was go to Oakvale, round up about 6 people, make them fall in love with me, walk them back through, and then sacrifice them one by one until I got the Scorn bow, the best bow in the game.
What about when the other 5 people notice that you're sacrificing?
No,
one
it's
of them?
really stupid.
Surely
So
you'll be
the
different
guy-
with me.
There is and you can also do it with mercenaries, which is handy. So you can go hire a couple of mercenaries and then just walk over there. I had difficulty with this at first because if you try
Your
to
morals?
have people that fall in love with you follow you through that forest, they will get very killed.
Oh.
But I realized that
They're
if you
delicate.
just yes, but I realized that you could just abandon them and run to the other side, and that they would just kind of pop in behind you like they do in games.
Oh.
So
Did you tell them
The-
to stay there, or did you just run fast?
no, I just ran. I just hauled
Okay.
ass because the monsters
This is
chased me.
terrible.
So
This is a terrible practice. What are you talking about?
you go-
Sacrificing people who fall in love with you to
You
a demon.
go to the Temple of Scorn, and there is a very deep-voiced man in a hood
Mhm.
who says, "Welcome to the Temple of Scorn. Will you be our guy?" I don't remember what he says. And he has got a very deep voice, and you sacrifice somebody to him, and I should have written down the exact wording, but it's something along the lines of like, "The sacrifice has been chosen." And he says like, "Oh, the manner of their doom is foretold." And then he just kind of picks something random. And I think it was different every time. It's not. So what happens is they fly up into the air above some sort of glowing gem or something. And then they just like scream and disappear.
Oh.
But every time he tells you where he's sending them. So he'll be like, "Spotify, the monster of blades will have fun with this plaything," and then they disappear screaming.
Spotify?
Yeah.
The
And-
monster of blades.
or the infernal pit of slowly burning people to death will have a good time with this idiot. So basically you're sending them to different spots in hell where they're going to be tortured for eternity.
That is horrible.
I want to know more about this demon Spotify.
Yeah.
I feel like you could make lists of songs for it to sing as it murders people.
You can make lists of screams.
Ooh.
But the worst part is you can't skip too many songs in a row without paying the premium.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you pay the premium when it's like every piece of music in the world?
Yeah. At this point, I'm ditching satellite radio and I'm just sticking to Spotify.
Yeah, I don't. It's $10. In fact, I think mine's like $6 because I left and came back. But it's like, it's kind of worth it. I think it's
Yeah.
more value. I think you get more value out of it than like Hulu.
It depends on how much music you listen to.
Well, yeah,
True.
of course. They do podcasts now as well, but why in God's name would I pay them money to listen to podcasts?
Yeah.
People don't
And
pay
if we
me
put our
money to listen to
podcasts
podcasts
on-
unless you're a patron. So patrons, listeners, if you want to join our Patreon, Square Roots Podcast, patreon.com/Square Roots Podcast.
We could
All
put
right.
our podcast on there, but then I'd have to remove all the game music from it.
I tried that.
I
They
like the-
rejected us
Oh, wow.
For what? We didn't do anything.
because we have a bunch of music that we didn't pay for.
That's
We did
what
do
I
that.
said.
I know.
Yeah. All right.
So, all right. So that's enough of the Temple of Scorn. I did a lot of that actually was later on in the game after this quest that I decided to go be an evil man. And yeah, so you make your way through the Darkwood camp, which has a couple of little shoppy guys, and your little dudes heal up. Your
That
little
was
trader
nice.
buddies heal up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go
I
through an
appreciated
area
that.
called the Ancient Cullis Gate. And this one's got a lot of stuff in it.
What kind of stuff?
It's got an Ancient Cullis Gate.
Ooh.
Yeah.
If we haven't mentioned this already, the Cullis Gates are these bluey circle thingies that you can teleport from, or to. It's more important to
Oh.
teleport to them because you can teleport from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
you
a
wanna
fast
unlock
travel.
them. Yes, exactly. You want to unlock
Okay.
them, but this one you cannot unlock. It's just old. And then on one side of the thing is a demon-y statue that I couldn't interact with, and then maybe a demon door on the other side. I feel like there was something else over there too. Oh, it was a big stone ball in the ground.
There was a demon door around here. I just remember I could not. Oh, he wanted me to do something ultimately evil in front of it, and I think
That was actually in the Greatwood.
Was that in the Greatwood?
Yeah, it
and
was.
that one, I'm assuming, I haven't done it. Is that eating the chick pie? Because usually when people talk about doing the ultimate evil, it's always eating that pie full of live chicks. But that might be Fable 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm, the crunchy chick.
I never did that one. I assumed you would have to get somebody to fall in love with you and then have them follow you there and kill them. But I didn't.
Maybe.
I didn't bother with that.
It seems like the kind of thing he'd like to do.
Yeah. Well, but it's no Temple of Scorn. So, that's way more fun.
The Temple of Scorn has earned my scorn.
Ooh. Good one, Vanessa.
Thanks. I worked on it for a couple days in preparation of this recording.
Anyway, so you fight your way through here, and,
this is where Balverines start. And I think this is where Dude Face turns, too.
Is
you
it?
Fight the Balverines. Yeah, it's right near the end here. And this guy's like, he starts saying, like, idle dialogue as you're walking around saying, boy, something's real wrong with me. You fight these Balverines, and as you're walking out of this zone, he's like, uh-oh. And he just turns into one and starts attacking you and your buddies. This game also has an escort quest mechanic of telling people to stop so you can run ahead and fight things so they aren't in danger. I recommend doing that. It reminds me a bit of Resident Evil 4, which had a similar mechanic. But I guess came out the same year or right around the same time.
So after the Great Cullis Gate, you head into the Darkwood Weir, and the Darkwood Weir has a boss!
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, it does. It was very hard.
Yeah, I did not get this boss. I didn't get the pattern down. How did you kill it, Matthew?
I stood at his little footsies and slashed at them with my great big sword, because by this point I was carrying a great sword around, and then he would get very mad and jump into the air, and I would do a backwards roll when he landed so that he couldn't hurt me, and then I would use my battle rush power to rush into him again and cut at his legs, and I did that for about 5 minutes, and he died.
He sort of looked like...
He's a big old earth troll.
Yeah, a greeny monster that throws chunks of earth at you that's kind of hard to avoid.
Yeah, there's a bunch of these in this game.
I didn't like that. I didn't master the mechanic. I just sort of spammed it.
If you get in really close, he doesn't do the throw stuff at you attack. He just kind of stands there for a minute, and then you can roll out of the way when he does his area of effect attack and dive back in before he starts throwing things.
That
he threw a rock at me, and I hit it with my sword, and the rock flew back into his face, and I got an achievement called Feed the Troll.
That is awesome.
I gotta do that.
That's what happened to me.
Great job, Vanessa.
Thanks.
Master of video games.
Mm-hmm. It helps to have a light sword, because then your movement is a little bit faster. And I think he throws 2 rocks at a time, and if you time it right, you can smash them both right back at that troll.
Okay, yeah, I was using a giant hammer, so maybe I should switch to something lighter.
Yeah, giant hammer, too slow for hitting the rocks.
Okay. And so yeah, you kill this dude, and he was basically blocking the end of the path. So, and that, I guess that's the reason why merchants have been having a hard time getting through the Darkwood, because this guy was blocking it.
Which is really weird, considering all of the monsters running around, constantly attacking people.
Normally they're fine. So you...
Now, if you're a Matthew, you make sure you kill all the traitors and the monsters in an area. Gotta balance out those points.
2 traders outside, and they're like, well, thank you very much. And just walk away.
Yeah, you deliver them to an area called the Barrow Fields.
And that's as far as I got.
All right.
That's as far as you needed to get.
Yeah.
Next
Have
week
I missed
we will
any
walk
sidey
into...
quests? Sorry.
I was going to say next week we will walk into Oakvale to start the episode.
Oakvale, that's where we grew up. It burned to the ground.
Yeah.
What? Oh.
Trust me, I'm going to burn it to the ground again. Don't worry.
Oh.
But also next week, we are going to get to the Witchwood.
Ooh, spooky! You said
Witchwood.
witch.
Maybe
Hey.
witches are good in this game because it's just a different religion.
That would be cool.
It's like a weird Viking town in there that's kind of neat. Johnny will like it a lot, I think.
spoilers.
Well, there's
Oh,
a town.
boy.
You know there's towns.
I will seduce all the Vikings.
Nice.
Did I miss any side areas either of you would like to point out? There's a Hobbs Cave, right?
Yeah, that actually, I was looking at it. You can't do that yet. Your renown is not high enough.
Yeah,
Oh.
I
Matt
think
was a
after
lying
this
liar.
quest you can.
Matt went to the Temple of Scorn and got all evil, and now he lies.
Whoa. Well, I'm
oh,
going to try
the
and
people of Oakvale.
do
those
some
poor
side
fools.
content. I will. Did any of you get in this chunker? Can you get the 4 blue mushrooms, or is that not an option?
Mushrooms.
You get the
could
last one at
do
Barrow
it.
Fields.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I hadn't found any of them.
The last
I
one
will
cost
tell
me
you
like
where they
5,000
are.
gold.
Whoa.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
Well, maybe it did because you're evil. It cost me 1,500 gold because
Oh,
I'm
maybe it was
good and
1,500.
pure. Of course it was. You're lying again.
He just can't stop.
Okay, listeners, if you don't want to be spoiled on these mushroom locations, plug your ears because I'm about to lay it out. Mushroom 1.
You can have lots of fun.
Go to the picnic grounds, and there is a lady tripping out, and she talks about how she... Wait! You can't do it yet. You can't do it until you enter Oakvale.
Oh, okay.
So, I'll just do mushrooms 1 through 3. Mushroom
Okay.
1.
You can have
walk
lots
into
of
a-
fun.
Mushroom 1.
We can have lots of fun.
Good. I just wanted to get that clean so when
Yeah.
Matt edits it, he can
Good job.
have some options to choose from. There's no way he'd leave all of that in and
None whatsoever.
not, carefully edit out the best parts of the podcast.
It's true.
Mushroom 1.
You can have lots of fun.
You go to the picnic grounds and there's a lady tripping out, but she is upset because she was told that she would have a good trip where she couldn't stop laughing, and she's not laughing at all. So you can perform for her, and she will be delighted by your antics, at which point she will give you a mushroom.
Ooh.
Mushroom 2.
There's so much we can do.
Remember those old hippies who were talking about how they lost their mushroom? You
Mhm.
go fish it out. Take your fishing rod over to the Demon Door in the Heroes Guild, and there's a little spot in the river where the water is rippling,
And bubbly,
and you can, you can fish yourself a mushroom right up. Mushroom 3.
It's just you and
Buy it from Barrow Fields for 1,500 gold.
me. Yikes.
5,000 gold.
And mushroom 4. We'll have
We'll
to
talk
wait.
about that, next time.
We'll talk
Do
about it more later.
you want to talk about fishing, John?
Yeah, let's maybe
Why
slide
do
on
fishing
over.
mini games always suck in video games?
To the
Anyway,
bullshit
welcome to John's
minigame
Bullshit Mini Game Corner.
Is this our first fishing game?
No.
Name another.
Yeah, I don't
No.
think we've done one.
Name another.
I think this is
Bard's
our first
Tale.
fishing game. Did that have a fishing game?
I can't name the games we've played, guys.
I think this is our first fishing game,
I agree.
which is crazy because they're in every JRPG and Zelda game
Apparently
and Zelda
not.
type game, but not the ones we've played.
How strange.
Near Automata, or Automata as I like to say, did have a fishing game, but that instant classic episode is lost in the ether.
It's on Google Play.
It's on Google Play. Well, I don't think we even talked about the fishing game because Matthew was too angry.
He was so mad.
Yeah, so there is a fishing game, and it's one of the you gotta press the button at the right time, but not let the fish go back and get the fish onto your thing. It's pretty fast. I didn't mind it.
It's not bad. It doesn't take a long time to get a bite, which I appreciate.
Ah, Persona has a fishing minigame, doesn't it?
Does it?
Persona.
Persona 3?
Yeah.
Maybe not in the version Vanessa and I played.
No, Persona 4 does, but I don't think that Persona 3 does. Where would you even fish? You're in the city.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can fish in Persona 5.
Oh, there was a place where you can go on a date with someone that's like a fishing place.
Oh.
I think Matt is right.
Oh.
Booyah!
Well, I never got there. So.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I mean, I got there, but I never went and like fished. But I think you can raise your stats by doing that.
Okay.
Wow. For once, Matt wasn't lying.
Okay. So fishing, I did. I just did a little bit. Got the mushroom. Got the. Just got the practice fish that he tells you to do. Have either of you really explored the wide world of fishing?
Mm-hmm.
I think the fishing game is dumb, and I don't like it.
Oh.
I beat the fishing game. I fished around in just a few spots and became the greatest fisherman in all of, I don't even know what this place is called. Fableville?
Albion.
Albion. That's right. And my special reward was I got a better fishing pole for my first efforts. And then when I got the big one, I got a special hat.
Ooh.
Sexy.
Did they give you an A+ so you could feel that rush of what's the name of the hormone you get when the good thing
Endorphins?
happens? Yeah, rush of endorphins because you got the grade.
More or less, because they did say that you're the best, and they gave me a special hat, and much like a graduation hat, except it has fishing lures all over it.
Weird.
We all know Vanessa's she's like Lisa Simpson. She needs that feedback of the letter grades.
She needs the validation.
I
Yeah.
do.
So, moving on, John, I want to know about this fight club.
Fight Club. So there's a big circle in Bowerstone full of sweaty, swarthy, shirtless men fighting. And they're like, you got to take off your shirt to be one of us shirtless bros. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, now that we're all shirtless here, we're going to do something that's super not gay and grapple each other. For new listeners, I am a homosexual, so don't worry. It's cool. I don't know. You never know. Maybe people think I'm being homophobic, and there are homophobic gay men, but let's move on. So you start fighting, and
Goddamn SJWs.
Whoa!
Oh, no. Yeah.
We knew Matt was gonna red pill one day. I didn't think it'd be so soon.
Me neither. I thought he did at least 40 before he got that bitter.
Yeah. And you fight. You basically just fight three guys in a row, and he's like, "Oh, you gonna fight me now?" And then I fought him, and I punched him in the face because the combat's fairly easy. You just have to dodge a lot. I like the dodging. So, yeah, I beat him, and I guess that was like the first round. You could go back for more Fight Club if you want.
Mm-hmm.
If you like grappling with all these sweaty, shirtless men.
All right, what else was there?
There was a race game where you can race against. These guys challenge you to race to the demon door
At
and
the
back
Heroes Guild?
at the Heroes Guild. I did that. That one was hard.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't beat it.
Hold on.
Oh, there goes Jim on his motorcycle.
Jeez.
Driving by.
I
Why
bet
is
once
he
you get
doing
your
that?
speed stat up, it'll be a lot easier.
Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah.
There's a racing minigame later on, and my speed was up to like max, and I just blew everyone away. It was hilarious.
Okay, so that makes sense because I did do it, but it was like nearly impossible. Like it took me like 6 or 7 tries to get it.
I found the camera kind of wonky because it doesn't automatically swing around behind you. So you have to like race to this door and then back. And when you're coming back, the camera is in front of you, so you can't really see where you're going unless you take the time to swing it around.
Right.
Which can shave precious seconds off your racing time.
It's true. Does this game have the gargoyles that laugh at you in Scottish accents?
No. I wish it did. I was
That
kind
was
of
the
looking
Bard's
for
Tale.
them. No, it wasn't. It was Fable 2 and or 3.
3 had the gnomes, I think.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I really like that. That's why I was assuming there'd be something like this in this one, but sadly there is not.
Yeah,
Did
I
Fable
heard
2
someone
have-
carrying on, and I thought it was one of them, but it was
That's
just
funny.
some guy.
Did the other Fables have demon doors?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they sure did. And so did Bard's Tale, right? I know it had those walls you could talk to.
Yeah, and they would tell you like a limerick or a jingle or something.
Right. It did remind me a lot of this.
All right,
Which
so the
came
race.
out first, Bard's Tale or Fable?
Bard's Tale. That was 2003. This was late 2004, early 2005.
I do
Man.
feel that they're similar in tone, only Fable isn't quite so disgusting.
I mean, there is a Hell's Angels club just down the hill from me, so maybe that's what this is all about. But sheesh, stop driving your motorcycles.
I tell you, it's Jim. He just wants us to know that he's having fun while we're busy working on the podcast.
So what
Not
else, John?
that podcasting isn't fun. We have fun.
I think that's it.
Okay.
I think we're done there, Matthew Van Zandt.
Let's quickly dive into our Squarely Against and wrap this guy up. John,
Yeah.
Okay.
it's time for our final segment of the show before we start plugging things for ourselves. What are you squarely against?
I am squarely against a game crashing.
Oh, no.
Now, admittedly, I have an original... Well, no, okay, I have a second-gen Xbox 360 because it's got HDMI out. But, so it's fairly old. And it's probably like a 2009 system. But it did totally crash when I was fighting Whisper... Or right after I finished fighting Whisper in that quest at the farm. And, yeah, this game's a little crashy. A little bit crashy. On the Fable anniversary, anyways.
Yeah, I had some crashing issues as well where I had to restart my Xbox. It was very frustrating.
Me too.
What about you, Vanessa? What are you squarely against?
Well, I am sort of triangularly for and against the mechanic of respawning enemies when you leave and enter a new area. On the one hand, I understand that it's good for leveling to always have some kind of beast or something to hit with your sword and or arrow. But it just feels a little bit tedious to me if you are kind of walking back and forth, that every time you enter somewhere, there's like 8 new hobs or something like that. It just does not sit well with me. So I wish they had found a way to maybe like that bandit area, have some places where you can clear out monsters entirely and make a happy, wonderful trade route where people aren't screaming and running away from monsters. Then again, that wouldn't be very much fun to play. So that's why I'm sort of, rectangularly ambivalent. How about you, John?
I already
John.
went.
No, John.
How about
you, Matt?
Matthew?
How about you, John? I think I will be squarely against dumb, bad locking mechanics and bad design that lets you hit people that you're trying to escort, because it really screwed me up several times, and that is bad game design. And that's it. We did it.
Oh boy.
John, remind me what we're playing to one more time.
We are playing until you get to the Witchwood.
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 So we did run a little poll on our Patreon,
Oh, yeah.
and our $8 plus donors chose a game from our list of 8 games that...
Did they choose a game? Did
well,
they?
that was the goal, but they failed.
Ugh, listeners.
Did
what
they
you
fail
doing?
so much, or John failed to set it so that you could only vote once?
You know,
No.
mistakes were made. No, actually, yes, mistakes were made because there is a let people only vote once option. I forgot to check it. So,
I think that everyone is a little bit to blame, except for me.
Yeah.
So the determination that we made was that the tied games will both be played. Is that right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And what are those games?
Simultaneously.
John, you say one. Vanessa, you say the other.
At the
Okay,
same
at
time.
the same time.
No, not at the same time. Oh, we're not going to play them at the same time. Okay.
Here we go, John. One,
1,
two,
2, Chrono
three.
Cross.
Oh, I was going to 3.
Oh. We
Okay.
never
Oblivion!
I did it already. God, Matt.
Chrono
So-
Cross and Oblivion.
And we're also doing Final Fantasy VI somewhere in there, right? So we haven't determined
Yeah.
the order yet.
next
But,
We
by the
refuse
next
to determine the order. We're making the Patreon listeners do it for us.
Are we?
Yes.
I want to break it up so that it's JRPG, Western RPG, JRPG, Western
That
RPG.
is that is the two options I gave are any Patreon now can vote on what to play first, but the options are either Final Fantasy 6, Oblivion, Chrono Cross, or Chrono Cross, Oblivion, Final Fantasy 6, so we don't have 2 JRPGs in a row.
Appreciate that.
No problem, buddy.
All right, let's quickly talk about how you can send us an email
Okay.
at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. And if you hate us and don't want to email us, you're welcome to come to our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or you can tweet at us at Square Roots Pod.
Full of people who hate us, that group.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you screenshot your review and send it to us via email, Facebook group, or Twitter, we will tell you how you leveled up.
Oh, the Twitter. I'm supposed to be doing that. Sorry, guys. I'll do it right after this. I'll tweet something.
Vanessa, before John gives the theme plugs, would you be so kind as to read off a list of our patrons who were kind enough to give us money for reasons I
will.
don't understand, but love.
Here I go.
On your own.
I was
Yeah.
about to go. But if you want to give me some back-end music, that's okay. Just, keep it
Here
down.
we go.
Keep it
again
chill.
on our own.
Lower that level. Drop it down.
Go down the only road.
Devin Sloan, James Plett, Greg Bailey, Race Jenkins, Joseph A. Rogers, Rob Schubert, Stu Skeel, Xavier Krieger, David Shook, Matthew Jorgensen, Vanessa's mom, Aaron Bachman, Robert M. Pullum, Evan Dixon, Stan, Tracy Tanoff, Josh, Robert T., Ross Hartley, Tyler Petty, Brody Toy, Justin Ham, Bree Girth, Meredith Anderson, Brian Pitt, Ward Childress, Patrick Hoover, Wonderswan, Miguel Torres, Rusty Kamado, Andrew Wyant, Tom, Lynn Setchell, Justin Benoit, Cameron Cho, and Cyril the Wolf.
All right, Johnny, take us away with our plugs for our wonderful musicians who pay us thousands of dollars to play their music on our amazing show.
Yeah. Oh, okay. What? I mean, hey, our intro music for the series is the One Nils cover of the Oakvale theme, and our outro is Metal Lewis's cover of the Fable Anniversary theme. Check out the One Nils and Metal Lewis on Patreon and YouTube. Links in the show notes.
Woo! For the Square Roots Podcast, I am Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Jim Banks.
Get out of here, Jim. You stink. You smell bad. Brush your teeth.
I am John Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
Bye.